Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is really a big pleasure for me to do this short presentation. And I will not show you any watches. I don't speak about Omega in general. I really like to jump directly into one of the important things about partnerships of Omega and especially with the Fina. You can only create synergies between brands by having good and strong partnerships. And at Omega, we never speak of sponsoring business or something like that. You know, we are a partner, and for us, sponsoring is a company who brings money and who gets a marketing package. And it was always, since the beginning of Omega and timekeeping, that Omega, and in this special case, with the Fina, have improved technology of aquatics timekeeping. And let's talk about some objectives. For sure, main objectives of Omega is to sell watches. And for sure, in marketing, each brand wants to be unique, and you want to be different from your competitor, and so on. But let's jump into what means partnerships at Omega. It's a long-term approach. The first contract between Fina and Omega was signed in 1973. Is over 40 years ago. The actual one will run until 2021. And in this period, on these long-term partnerships, for sure, it was always the objective that Omega supported Fina and aquatics in general by developing new technologies. It can be hardware. At the beginning, it was really hardware-orientated, but also software developed. It's developed in-house for the good of the athletes, the spectators, and broadcasters. We are convinced and sure each athlete has the right that his performance is measured in the right way. The spectators, they buy tickets, entry tickets, that they also will have a good experience and also up-to-date technologies, how the sport is done. And finally, for sure, broadcasting, we provide them information, results, and so on. We go a little bit what was done in the past, because it's quite impressive, and it shows also why Omega always has the idea, or is also true, to be in a little bit in a special position, because it goes so back into history of sports and swimming. And when we go into it, you see here in 1956, it was the first called swim automatic timer. It was when microelectronics became important in timekeeping. You know, before there was pocket watches which were used for doing timekeeping, and it was the first semi-automatic timekeeping device which was done. It meant there was a shotgun. There were 8 watches who started really synchronized at the same time, and at the finish line, it was stopped by hand. Then in the 60s, there were the TV graphics which were introduced, really basics. There were white fonts on black and white images, and we could show running time and end time. But at this time, it was really a little revolution. Then in 1967, the touchpads were invented and developed, and it was really a historic turning point. Swimmers could, with their own hand, stop the clock. And how was it done? It was a system with contact stripes. They were reliable and provided precise results. Design was quite clever. You know, on a highly sensitive and localized impact, it created the pulse, and the little waves on the pad were absorbed. Together, we used a new timer. It was developed in '68, called Swim-O-Matic, and because the pulse coming from the touchpad had also to be registered in the new timer, and was really special. You see here with this arrow, there were loudspeakers. Each touchpad had integrated a loudspeaker that each athlete could really hear the start gun. And what was also new with the timer, it could measure 1,000th of a second. In '77, the touchpads were reworked and re-engineered with slats, which can be replaced. It's still more or less the same system. Okay, here on high-level competition, it's not a big topic, but for small clubs, it's a very good system. If you break some slats, you can exchange them for very small money. Then in '84, the first high-speed video backup was developed. It had a timing accuracy of 100th of a second, and for sure in the '80s it was analog. In '86, for the first time, it was the ONV new result, which were launched, and data handling. What could we do? It was the schedule, start lists, ranking list, output on scoreboards, and TV. In '95, it was a new timer called Ares. I always thought it is the Greek god of war and destruction, but the official name is Advanced Results Entry Station. What does it mean? It was the first timer where the timing control was made over a software with a notebook. You see on the picture, the devices, they don't have any buttons. But for main and backup, as we called it in these days, we needed 2 devices. Then in the 2003, also a big step forward, it was the introduction of the virtual TV graphics introduced into swimming. We have the start line, the names and the national flags floating on the water. On B, it's the virtual world record line, and on C, the instantaneous podium. In 2007, the high-speed video backup was also re-engineered, new technology, digital-based. It was the hardware became lighter, it was easier to handle, user-friendly, and the quality, the picture quality could be improved. In 2008, the OSB 11 was launched on the market with the track start and the integrated relay brake detection technology. The footrest, you can adjust it, is still the actual block we are using also for high-level competition. And we added in 2012 this system for the instantaneous ranking, and where we can, at the venue, you can quickly see who is first, second, and third position, and the lights are going on the dedicated starting block of the dedicated line. This system is driven by the quantum timer, and the quantum timer is the actual timer we are using. The timing accuracy is one of a million of a second. For sure, it's only displayed 1 of 100 because there are the Fina rules who are like that. And if the timer is measuring this accuracy, then it's always rounded up. And you see the primary and the secondary device is in one device. Everything became, as in general in microelectronics, became smaller and lighter. Then we had the virtual graphics introduction in diving. It's before the divers or the athletes are preparing for the dive. It is an animation that the spectator at home can or knows in advance what kind of a dive will be done. Also, something which was improved in 2011 is the open water gate. You know it quite well. Long distance races, more and more at the finish line, the athletes are closer. The competitions are only decided in sprints. And it means we need really technology and high-level technology out on the water. And we could develop And also this, why we could do it, because Omega has a long-term partnership and aspects. It was quite difficult and quite expensive to develop it, but as we have a term of long-term, we can also use it several times. There's a certain abatement and amortization on these things. Okay, what do we have? The technology is a transponder technology. The antennas are integrated into the gantry for the intermediate times when they are swimming laps, and especially also at the finish. And at the finish, if needed, we have in addition the high-speed video camera to really to do the right ranking. Very new development is the backstroke ledge. We did it together or in collaboration with Mirta Puls, with Trevor. He's very involved in these things. What will be new and different? It's a better start push and trajectory of swimmers are improved. There are 5 different positions for the adjustments. The ledge is anti-skid surfaced, and for sure it's fully compatible with our platforms. And we have the last developments we did is an underwater lap counter. We did some tests at the World Cups in Singapore and Japan some weeks ago. We will use it here next week. What is new? Okay, it's waterproof, it's a little bit standard. Okay, I admit. But what is new? It's LED displays. LED displays are the state of the art, how to display result and information, and it's under the water. It's more comfort for the athletes, and we won't anymore have people or officials which have to show panels at the end of the pool. All these things shows us the long way Omega did, and the special position also, what Omega can really be. Okay, it is unique. It's not another watch brand who can say they did the same. The heritage, the history is really unique, and is then one of the puzzle to create a strong image for Omega, and I think it's really a strong and a good one. As we all know, Omega was always close with the Olympic Games, and Aquatics is really one of the big pillars of the Summer Olympic Games. Now I have 2 videos. The first is showing us some animations, how the swimming things are done, and the second one shows us how timekeeping, it's just animation, how we are doing the timekeeping in aquatics. you know, sorry. Just, you know, as I said, I was really now focused on technology. For sure, Omega is also doing a lot of marketing activities around, and this called 360 approach, where you need all the marketing instruments like advertising and PR and all these things. Also retail, more and more Omega has its own boutiques where we also is used for communication and so on, and for sure all these things are exploited, are done, but today I thought, okay, let's focus on technology a little bit. And also we know Omega has different lines, product lines, and the Omega Seamaster is really dedicated to sports, and especially to water sports like swimming or sailing. It's really also Omega has since decades a dedicated product with chronographs and really sport related watches. Thank you for your attention. Merci.